All right, WM Phoenix Open week, excited for the event, excited for the field. Johnson, I'm excited for you to dive into the back nine because we love talking 15, 16, 17, 18, but the back nine to me kind of starts right there at the 11th, the hole you touched on earlier that you can get yourself in trouble in very quickly.
Well, 11 of the most difficult holes anywhere on the PGA Tour. Last year at the WM Phoenix Open, it was the hardest hole for the week. And you can see this tee shot, penalty area all the way down the left-hand side. If you do not feel comfortable working a left to right fade on this golf hole, you're in for a long day. Trouble out to the right-hand side. Very difficult to get an angle if you miss the fairway right to get it on the green. See a lot of players leave it short and right if they're out of position and just try to get it up and down. And when the weather's good and like we're expecting this week, this green is one of the firmest on the golf course, and balls to the left pins just rocket over the back of the green into that penalty area. And it doesn't get any easier as we move to the 12th. Played as the second hardest hole at the WM Phoenix Open last year. You can see the penalty area wrapping around this entire back right. The rules staff love to set the pins on the right side of this green, but don't let a left pin fool you. You can see all that slope coming off those bunkers. So if you bail out left, leaves a very difficult up and down. Happy to walk away with 4 threes. And then 13 is obviously a par 5, which is a good chance. But then you move to 14. It's the 5th hardest hole on the golf course. So in this 4-hole stretch, you're talking about 3 of the 5 hardest holes on the golf course. This is where you have to really hang on if you have a lead. Difficult tee shot, moving right to left, and the second shot plays uphill to a green as well as the 11th, I said, plays firm. This green plays firm as well. It's because it's so elevated and you can't really see the ball landing when it comes down. Gives you a little bit of a buffer on that right side where you can sort of use that bank to hold a ball onto the green. But one of my favorite stretches here at the WM Phoenix Open, it always comes down to who plays those holes the best. And then, as we all know, 15 to 18, you get another opportunity to make some birdies. But that stretch, 11, 12, 14, boy, is it fun. And you got to hang on to that steering wheel there for a few holes.
Yeah, Johnson. I mean, 11 as a whole, you're now seeing players kind of hit fairway woods and stuff off the tee a lot of the time, so they don't have to take it over the desert. But I've always found 14 just a tough tee shot. It's just tough to find the fairway, and you know they love to grow the rough up at this golf course. And when you miss that fairway to that elevated green, all of a sudden, I mean, par's a great score at 14. And I think that's part of the fun of the back nine, right, is you have these birdie holes and eagle holes, but then you mentioned 3 holes where, as you said, if you make par every day, you're going to be picking up strokes on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. The par 4s on that back nine, it's a wonderful mix. Tom Weiskopf did such a good job designing tournament golf courses, and this is maybe one of my favorites that he's done exclusively for tournament golf.
Patrick, I got a chance to play with Mr. Weiskopf, I think the year after the redesign back in 2014. And I mean, it was cool to kind of play all 18 holes with them and see some of the changes. One of the changes being that back tee at 14, making it a little bit longer and just toughening up some of the tee shots, I think was one of the points. But I love telling this story. The first hole, you know, it's Tom Weiskopf, right? I mean, you're fired up to get a chance to see this guy, I mean, swing. You talk about a legend of the game. He hits a tee shot on one. He hit driver, which I don't think you hit driver on one all the time. He's probably in his 60s. Hits driver. My camera guy comes up and goes, "Hey, we missed the tee shot. Can you ask Tom to hit another one?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, no problem." And I went over and he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And he pegs it, hits driver again. We get up there. They were like 4 inches from each other in the middle of the fairway. It was true, like lay the towel over the, over the golf balls in the same spot. And that's the ball striker that was Tom Weiskopf. But it's a fun golf course. And Patrick, it's one of those ones I think it can lull you to sleep on the front before you get to the back, but the front's extremely difficult as well.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm curious to hear from Johnson. I know you're an Arizona guy. You've played plenty of desert golf, Shane. Johnson, from your perspective, any nuances to desert golf that these guys kind of have to get used to? Shane talked about Weiskopf, laying the blanket over 2 drives. It feels like you get wide here. It's kind of a crapshoot. Could get lucky in the desert or it could be completely boned. I think we saw Jordan Spieth go lefty putter and making a par at one point last year.
Yeah, certainly off the tee, there's nuance. You just want to keep it in front of you. But I think with desert golf, you get so little rain in the desert that there's this natural, when it does rain, it rains hard. And there's this natural drainage in sort of the valleys. Like when you look at Amex, everything goes towards Indio. When you look at Vegas, everything goes towards the stratosphere. It's really just the low point in the valley. And so when you talk about TPC Scottsdale, the low point in the valley, Shane, you would probably know a little better than me, but that's where if you have a trouble reading a putt, you want to make sure that you know where that location is.
And Johnson, you go from San Diego where the ball goes nowhere to a hot Arizona this week. I've already talked to a couple players this week that are just talking about how far the ball's going. I think that's something that you're going to see players trying to dial in, obviously Monday through Wednesday, in terms of just distance. I mean, you'll see guys hitting 8 irons 200 yards this week.
For sure. I mean, San Diego, I think it was the warmest I've seen that golf tournament play in a long time. So the ball was bounding. It was going a lot further. Normally, you're spot on, Shane. The ball goes, I've never been any place on planet Earth other than maybe Pebble that the ball goes short. Pines, but I don't think it's going to be quite as big of an adjustment as it has been in years past.
It's just crazy when you get to Phoenix, the elevation. I think people just don't realize the elevation of this area and the golf courses, and especially when you get up to North Scottsdale, you can hit it a very long way, and these guys swing it very, very hard, as we've talked about.